Let's just testing the microphone. I like black canvases. I don't like bright stuff. I'm about to take Leela to the river here. So I've got a list of shit I've got to do. There's almost so much stuff that it's overwhelming because there's orders and all this other crap you gotta adhere to. When you have a destination, a goal, an idea, and you think about it, then you logically come to the conclusion that there's certain things that need to be done first and other things that can be done later. So you've got these steps, you've got these action items, but then under the action items is you. Your state of being, how you're faring. And then there's the world, what's happening around you. Self-possession, there's this action and actor thing. It happens. We oscillate in awareness. We become conscious and unconscious. The trance of life, it catches you. And sometimes we invoke the trance through our goal, and sometimes the world invokes the trance in us. So I just want to make an idea here. All right. Here's the river of life. The river of life is secretly mothered by, or maybe not so secretly, the moon. The river of life is even more secretly mothered by, get that out of the way, the sun. The sun shows its feminine through the moon, right? We got like this. Let's make it a little bigger. I know, and it's like the sun and moon don't exist, right? They're just holograms. But for the sake of reason, let's just pretend that all the psyops of the past 100 years don't exist, and we're just going off of what feels right to us. So use whatever language you got for that. Alright, so the emotions, the river of life here, bringing us to and fro, the ebb and flow, all that action, actor thing. When you're born, you've got the pulse, the blood of the ancestors flowing through you. In the blood, it's all these like little elements. Handed down through every being that's ever existed who is intermingled with your ancestors. Not only that, but all the traumas, I mean, it's probably more than this, but then there's all these other things, all these like potentials, these seeds. They're within you, you know, they're within all of us. They're carried down through the blood of life, the river eternal, until it changes. When you're born, when you take your first breath, you elementalize, you atomize every cell of your body with the energy of the moment, the vibration, the frequency of whatever is in your surroundings. Aether, you know, everything's connected. Electromagnetic universe, all is one. Whatever language you want to use, you're in resonance with that moment. So that energy is stored within the blood and your cells, and it shines, it vibrates. And there's these little elements in life that are carried down, handed down to you, and these elements resonate to these energies. Some resonate stronger than others. Let me tweak this here. Can't even see what I'm doing. All right. So some elements resonate stronger than others. Now there's ways to map these elements. How do you map things? You become aware of it. How do you become aware of it? You believe in it. Why do you believe in it? Because it shows you. We'll go there. And we'll just do that one. It's a demented looking pie, but hey, it works. It looks like a dream catcher or something. So the elements of the epigenetics scaled from where you're born, who touched you, who's in your environment, what experiences happened to you, what's happening in the world at the time, what's in the collective psyche, what's in the energy of the field of the earth, what's in the energy of the field of the next phase, the solar system, the sun, all these things. And all this stuff is like expressing through you. And you can map those things with these different mathematical equations and things that tell us where the planets, stars, asteroids are. Tells us what aspects are being made. The aspects that are in your chart were the aspects of the transits of that moment. Those transits were affecting the psychology, the mass consciousness of all of humanity, of all of existence here in this geocentric Earth. And these things resonate differently for individuals. When you hold the energy personally, it's different than when you experience it transitorily, generally speaking. Sometimes it's the same. So you've got all these different things, melodies playing through you. The breath of life is expressing through your awareness. And in all that, there's you at the center of this thing. The being, the sun. And you have options to choose how you want to express, what you want to accept, what you want to change. Now these melodies, these little notes here in the river of your life, they express through experiences. We nurture our nature into existence, and the nature nurtures us into existence. Chicken or the egg, you know, it makes no sense to argue it, except if you want to understand it better. So as you're playing your song through life, you have these options to choose what myth you want to further live through, or what myth you want to change, how you want to cultivate the myth, how you want to change the song, how you want to expand it, express it differently. And as we're in this ebb and flow of conscious, unconscious act or action, the world is giving us more material, raining down on us through the emotional fields. And the emotional fields are where our conscious awareness gets stuck, or not really stuck, but gets put into dynamics external, so that we can bring those dynamics to life through a full maturation of living and dying. And as we know, nothing truly dies, it just transforms, it changes. So the primary change mechanisms are societal, cultural. And what determines that? It's, you just step it out a bit. It's the alignments in the heavens, the cosmos, the psyche of something larger. You can break this pen into all these different pieces and they'd be individual, but they're from the same thing. It may not function unless you were able to put it all back together. And it could function in a new way if you put it together in a new way. Or if you take completely disparate pieces and you meld them to whatever was broken off. So this is how our experiences can be. This is how we can grow in existence. So when I was young, I went through traumatic things. I became possessed. I was not my experience, and I rebelled from everything else, and I focused all that tension into whatever it was that I was interested in, whatever drove me. I exercised all the time. I played guitar, I drew, I ran around. Everywhere I went, I would run. I just got the tension out, and it wasn't thought out, it wasn't planned, it was just a natural expression. We look around this world, we see all these people in high places, these people that achieve a lot because they've got all this trauma that they channeled into a focus. They became possessed by the expression. And they were able to do good for themselves and people they care about oftentimes. Then we have people of the same token who have done the exact same thing, but they didn't do good for others. They took from others, they stepped on others, they propagated the shadow which they repressed within themselves, sometimes knowingly, sometimes unknowingly. So we've got these icons here floating on the top. Everyone's kind of in these different liminal places. And we see the shine of these icons here. They seemingly rose above the emotions, but a lot of times what they did is they rode the emotion without digesting it. They became the ocean of fire. They became the possession. And they symbolize the deities, the demigods, the demiurge. They express the archons, the demons, the angels. They express all these elements which we anthropomorphize, which we externalize into something that we can all recognize with a communal logic. And we can't ignore it because oftentimes the society is what functions up here. It's very airy and it digs down deep. It's like the roots of potential meet the airs of change, and there's this liminal phase which is always going up and down, evolution, devolution. We get caught in these linear projections where this is going to be the golden age. We forget all the shit that's happening to us now, all the tyranny, all the idiocracy which is existing, because we can't change that anyway. We can't do anything. And rather than face ourselves, we drowned that out through the libations of creation, and we just ride it. Now, the way to get to the top, I feel, is not to try and get to the top, it's to try and get to the bottom. To try and get to the elements within you, the potential, the purity of who and what you can be, rewriting your own myth, rewriting the song of life. And to do that, you got to get through this layer here. We'll go with this color. I think this is some kind of blue. This is the feeling zone. You know, our elements rose up to meet reality here. These experiences, they're out of space and time, but they're stuck within us and they come alive through us. A lot of them are traumatic, a lot of them are good. They come to us when we don't have a language, when the memory is still forming and we're only hanging on to these key experiences during the early imprinting years. But to get through it, you got to get through all this emotional mire and shit here. And this stuff is what feeds us. I can't even see that. But there we go. These loops here, they feed us tension. And when you go down below that, you get depressed. So we get pushed back up, you know, to support the emotional flows of existence. So how do you get through all that? You got to learn awareness, you got to learn language, you've got to learn to release. You know, every question brings you an answer, and every answer a new question, and that's what you do when you learn to release. The most pure way I feel to do that without getting caught in the head games, the emotional loops, the mental loops, is to quit paying attention to the world around us, because it's a reminder, echo, response. You honor what could be, but you do not put that before what is within yourself, what you're trying to cultivate within. So you try and dive into what it is that feeds your spirit, what it is that feels in resonance with who and what you are. Even if you don't have the words or the expressions for that, you just know that what you aren't is clearly evident by the dynamics of the world and the situations around you, the people, the places, the things. So I've been trying to get down, you know. I've been trying my whole life. I didn't realize it. Sometimes I went up, then it was a reminder that I had to go down. Sometimes I went down, it was a reminder I had to go up, you know, and you don't, maybe some people can control it, but I feel if you feel you can control it, then you are ensnared in a loop, in a mental loop, in an emotional loop. So the best way to do it is authentically, is to allow the spirit to flow with you and you follow it. You know, when you can go deep, that's when you go deep. When you can't go deep, you do what feels most natural, and a lot of times it's either going one way or another or up. And every time you dive deep, no matter if it's only to here, or let's try this color, or down here, or maybe even down to the depths of the void, then you can come back up. You will come back up. And how you express will be in resonance with yourself, and you can come into resonance with the world authentically as an individual, and that's how unity is formed. It's through all these disparate individuals who share spirit, you know, the fire here, who share the emotional intelligence of what that spirit is. And it's not something you put words on, it's within the actions, and it's something you carry with you. It's a golden rule thing, it's reciprocity with yourself, and that's what you bring forward. So, figure out what your possession is through what it isn't. And follow that. That's what I feel is most prevalent for these times. All right, well, I don't know if that was understandable, but thanks for listening, watching, and being here.